it gets counted.
Right. Well, it is 2020, so I'm envisioning the worst possible scenario, which we've encountered all year. It's certainly possible that, like you said, Joe Biden could be declared the winner sometime before the sun rises. However, I'm looking at this map, and I'm seeing the fact that these three upper Midwestern states could very well be too close to call because of the mail-in ballots, especially in Pennsylvania. And even if you give Biden Nevada, you give the president Alaska, don't forget Alaska down here, and you could have potentially, even if you throw Georgia or North Carolina in one column or the other, these three upper Midwestern states could keep us very busy for the next week plus. I think I said to you before, I said, before we even started this broadcast, that we're either going to know who our president is in 48 hours or 6 weeks. I mean, I stand by my very vague pronouncement on that particular score there.
Well, yeah, I mean, the flip side of that, Alex, if we talk about that, if, you know we won't have these 16 votes tonight. We know we won't have these 20, so that's 36. We won't have the 15 in North Carolina, so that's 51. And we might not have, the Georgia one. So we could have 67 electoral votes that won't be decided tonight.
Can I ask you, Walt, though?
We certainly won't have the top of those three. These three, there's no way those will be decided tonight.
Now, you talked about a path that could see Vice President Biden potentially having a victory, even a soft one, in the early morning hours. Where do you see the president possibly winning, and what's your time frame on that? I imagine it focuses on the upper Midwest, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the president could definitely win. I mean, and I think the possibilities for the president winning, really his path to victory would be, it begins with him holding on to North Carolina, him winning Michigan, him winning Wisconsin, and him winning Georgia. I think that alone probably gets him there, right? Let's see, 31, 47, 57.
That gets
him to 270. That's 270 right there.
And the map you're outlining, with the sole exception of Pennsylvania, is the map that we had in 2016 when President Trump faced Hillary Clinton, correct?
Right. So that would get him to 270, and if he failed on one of those, he could also win Pennsylvania. And of course, we know he's going to win Alaska. So that would get him to 273, actually. And if he failed on any one of these, he could come back and take Pennsylvania. And so, that's the president's path to victory. It's more limited. I mean, we outlined a Biden path before that would allow him to win potentially before we went home in the wee hours of the morning, which is kind of a crazy concept. I didn't think that was even potentially possible.
I want to play a soundbite.
There are obviously other ways that Biden could win as well.
The president spoke in the last hour, making major headlines that he's promising to mount a legal challenge to this. He wants the votes to stop right now. He wants the count to stop right now. Let's listen to what the president had to say a little while ago.
This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the
votes counting to stop. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but he is going to appeal to the Supreme Court now to get involved. Alex, you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah, just something that struck me when I was watching the president's speech. This president has got himself in trouble before by making statements and getting a little bit over his skis, and his lawyers are the ones that get impacted by using words like fraud. By going down that route, he may very well have dealt his own lawyers a serious blow as they try to pursue whatever case he might want to try and stop the count in some of these states. But additionally, the Supreme Court itself hears two things on direct appeal: disputes between the branches of government. So when Congress and the presidency have a beef, they hear that. They also can hear a direct appeal for anyone who feels that they've been violated because a law is unconstitutional. That's not what the president is arguing here. So it's highly unlikely that it would go directly to the Supreme Court, and it's highly unlikely his lawyers would even attempt to go down that route. Perhaps the president misspoke, so I don't see that particular route happening. It is more like what we've envisioned from the start of this, that we would have teams of lawyers parachuting into some of these very closely fought states, getting on the ground, trying to dispute and trying to potentially even throw out ballots, whether they've been counted or not. Now, you remember Florida in 2000, that was one state. Now, just imagine, depending on the way things go over the next few hours, a situation where we have a 2,000 level recount dispute legal battle going on in Florida, and expand that, multiply it by potentially 5. All these states here, the president sending in his team of lawyers to try and either stop the count or potentially, in Arizona, recount it. We know the president was very upset that Fox News' decision desk first called Arizona for Joe Biden. Still upset, even though the AP has firmly put it in Joe Biden's column. The president perhaps thinking that he could have his lawyers on the ground to change that result. That's something we're going to be keeping an eye on as these numbers are updated over the next few hours. Kurt?
Pretty scary thought. I mean, we thought 2,000 was a mess and everything. And Walt, you were down there for counting the counting of the Chads and things like that. This is, you're right, it's times 6 potentially here. But we continue with our election night coverage here on News 12. More controversy. If any of these remaining states are called tonight, we'll have it for you in the moments ahead. Is going to be just yet. But as of right now, Joe Biden, 238 electoral votes, president with 213. Flip the coin. It's a toss-up right now. Let's get it over to Alex Zdan. A look at New Jersey's races tonight. Great night for the incumbents, Alex.
Yeah, that's right, Kurt. And New Jersey, of course, as expected, remaining in Joe Biden's column. A Democrat has won New Jersey 4 decades. You can see here Joe Biden winning with a larger margin than Hillary Clinton 4 years ago. However, still strong Republican support in areas like Ocean County, Sussex, Warren County, Cape May County, and Salem County down in South Jersey. South Jersey has been a place that we have been watching all night because it may be that party-switching Democrat-turned-Republican Jeff Van Drew, who have embraced President Trump, he might be able to secure re-election against a tough, well-funded challenge from Democrat Amy Kennedy. Still only about 3/4 of the vote in. Cumberland County may be key in this. We're still watching this. However, the Associated Press has made a call saying that Democratic Congressman Andy Kim has defeated Republican David Richter in the 3rd district, which spans Burlington and Ocean counties. Richter, however, saying a while ago that the race is not over until all the votes are counted. He looks like he is going to be hanging on. Another very closely watched race, District 7 in what used to be called Republican horse country, Somerset County up there, Hunterdon County as well. Democrat Tom Malinowski, who flipped the seat from red to blue in 2018, the Associated Press projecting he will hold on against the son of a Jersey legend, State Senator Tom Kane Jr. Again, 60% of the vote in, and we're not exactly sure how many provisional ballots are going to be counted, and that could change the dynamics of some of these races because we've expected a lot more Republicans to be going to the polls to have those provisional ballots recorded than Democrats. Take a look at some of the races that have been well called already. In District 4, Congressman Chris Smith elected to his 21st term in the House of Representatives. He was first elected during the Reagan Revolution of 1980 before he turned 30 years old. Very strong showing by Congressman Smith in his district, which covers Monmouth and parts of Mercer County. Additionally, one of New Jersey's senior-most Democrats, actually the senior-most Democrat, and will be soon, if the Democrats, as expected, retain control of the House, he will continue to be on the Commerce Committee, chair of the Commerce Committee. Frank Pallone beating back a challenge from Christian Anoa. And then we have the higher district numbers, like District 8, Albio Series triumph over Jason Mushnick. These are the venerable incumbents like Bill Pascrell that regularly rack up these large margins in districts in North Jersey that are very heavily Democratic. And although Rosemary Becky gave a spirited challenge to Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, who did have a fight for this seat 2 years ago, it wasn't close in that particular race. And again, in Mercer County, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman reelected over Old Bridge Councilman Mark Rizzoli, a former Democrat, running as a Republican. And in case you haven't heard, and in case you're up or for some reason you're awake, 67% of the folks in New Jersey approved of legalizing marijuana. That question has passed. Now the question is, how will the legislature regulate it, and how long will that take? Kurt, we've got plenty of time to figure out that one.
We do, and also New Jersey Senator Cory Booker wins re-election as well tonight, an easy win over Rick Maida. Let's get it out to Walt. We're going to touch with Micah and Jeanette here momentarily, but Walt, as we take our focus back, big picture, and what is going on nationally tonight.
Well, Kurt, as we take a look at the national map right now, what we see at the moment is that Joe Biden has 238 electoral votes. Donald Trump has 213. We can simplify the map a little bit